Good morning. We're in Psalm 81. Aren't the Psalms fascinating? Just so much food to resource our prayers. This psalm is a bit bipolar. So listen to the tone change from the first half to the last. Sing for joy to God our strength. Shout aloud to the God of Jacob. Begin the music. Strike the timbrel. Play the melodious harp and lyre. Sound the ram's horn at the new moon, and when the moon is full, on the day of our festival. This is the decree for Israel, an ordinance of the God of Jacob, when God went out against Egypt, and he established it as a statute for Joseph. I heard an unknown voice say, I removed the burden from their shoulders. Their hands were set free from the basket. In your distress you called, and I rescued you. I answered you, and out of a thundercloud. I tested you at Meribah. Hear me, my people, and I will warn you. If you would only listen to me, Israel, you shall have no foreign gods among you. You shall not worship any other god than me. I am the Lord your God who brought you up out of Egypt. Open wide your mouth, and I will fill it. There's the pivot. But my people would not listen to me. Israel would not submit to me. So I gave them over to their stubborn hearts to follow their own devices. If my people would only listen to me, if Israel would only follow my ways, how quickly I would subdue their enemies and turn my hand against their foes. Those who hate the Lord would cringe before them, and their punishment would last forever. But you would be fed with the finest of wheat, with honey from the rock I would satisfy you. Okay, now, we cannot equate ancient Israel with America. But it feels like there is some application here. The psalmist pivots back and is remembering the great deliverance of Israel from Egypt, the breaking of the bondage of slavery, bringing them out from their captors into the desert, prepared for new land. But then it acknowledged, even after that great deliverance, the people rebelled, and they refused to trust only in God. They trusted other gods. This was really the sin of Israel. Multiple generations, right? Their hearts, right, were unfaithful. This is what's really interesting to me, right? We tend to think of idolatry as something that was past. And these barbaric ancient people with shrines and these carved totems and bowing down and sacrifice, and what kind of ignorant people. The problem with idolatry is that those who worship idols are not aware they're worshiping idols. They think they're worshiping powers, and they're bowing down and serving those things. So the question we might ask ourselves, what are our American idols? If idolatry has not gone away, if it's still present, if you and I are just as tempted as ancient Israel to worship other powers, other gods, other entities, what would those powers be? I've been thinking about this, been wondering about a preaching series called American Idols. It'd be interesting to get your list. If you were to say, here are the things that Americans are tempted to worship rather than God. And we would have to include ourselves in that. Perhaps it's a thought exercise today. Where am I giving my heart's attention to something less than God? Something other than God? Is there a way in which I could turn to God, open wide my mouth, as it says in verse 10, and he will fill it in a way that those dead foreign idols could never satisfy us? Food for thought. Grace and peace to you.